let's have a quick look at the NBA. The NBA had an interesting beginning in the late 40s. It was originally formed as the Basketball Association of America in 46 in New York. The first match was played between the Toronto Huskies and the New York Knickerbockers on the 1st of the 11th, 1946. It merged with the National Basketball League in 49. Ice hockey owners had a real big influence on the start of the sport because they wanted to use their arenas for basketball. They wanted to make more money. So ice hockey as a sport helped basketball as a sport. Ice would, I don't know how that works. The arenas are the actual size of the courts and the rinks. Yeah, okay, I get that. So ice hockey was a crucial stepping stone for basketball. So one major league helped form another major league. The head office is at the Olympic Tower on Fifth Avenue in New York, and the NBA TV is in Syracuse, New Jersey. Every team has to have a little office in that head office. In that building, every NBA franchise has to have a little office desk, at least, some kind of presence in the main building. Interesting. A few points to point out. There has been movement of teams, relocations, expansions, etc. Every league has this. That's in North America, relocation and expansion. Seattle going to Oklahoma, there was a legal challenge. I've never heard of this before. Normally, when an owner wants to move, or a new owner comes in and says, I want to move, I want to buy this team, I want to move it, 2/3 of the owners have to go yay or nay. There's a vote, because it involves money, lots of money. And there was a legal challenge by the owners of the KeyBank Arena in Seattle saying, you've got a lease, you've got to pay rent, you've leased this building. And eventually they moved to Oklahoma. So there was a bit of a hoo-ha there. Seattle looks likely to get the next NHL franchise. Obviously they've got to fix the KeyBank Arena. I'm actually very surprised that the NBA didn't start the NBAG, which is the minor league, till 2001. 2001, that is a long time with no minor league affiliate. Long time. It is the first major league in the North American pro sports to allow corporate sponsors on jerseys. No other, you will look at all the others, they don't have them. First one, they're up on this bit of the jersey. They're very small, but they're there. You'll notice them more and more as teams accept, never been done before. There are 30 teams in total, so it is a big league. The NHL has now got one team bigger, but one in Canada, 21 in the USA, so location is crucial. Crucial. They are the best paid athletes. We've all heard of Michael Jordan, Shaquille O'Neal and LeBron James, just to name three. There are more. These are household names in the US, and they're becoming household names over here. People know who they are. Space Jam had a big thing to do with that, because that's when the Chicago Bulls dream team was at its peak. David Stern, as commissioner, was a genius. He gets loads of free advertising. Warner Brothers have to pay them royalties to use the NBA logo. And the Chicago Bulls, which is an NBA-owned franchise, it got them some free publicity. It sold the game to millions and millions of kids all over the world that otherwise would not have taken up or had an interest in basketball. It sold to their families as well. That was an ingenious movement 22 years ago. David Stern, with Gary Bettman as his assistant until, I think, 1992-93. So for the first 6-7 years that David Stern was there, Gary Bettman, the NHL commissioner, was helping him run the sport. And the NBA had to slightly rebrand itself. So you've had 3 or 4 teams really dominate the sport. LA Lakers, Boston Celtics, Chicago Bulls. There you go. They are the three. The Knicks. They're the three. I mean, I know a lot about the Toronto Raptors because I like Canadian sport, but they're household team names. They're the teams that everyone hears about. LA Clippers as well. Got to have 2 teams in LA for some reason. They are the best paid athletes in the world because. And now they take games on the roads on the World Series to England a lot. They're doing an NFL. They're doing an NHL, taking ice hockey games to Europe. There were rumours all these major league sports would actually have teams over here in Europe, be it England. They seem to like us Brits a lot, or mainland Europe with ice hockey, have a whole ice hockey conference of the NHL. All these ideas have fallen a bit flat. It's all to do with currency exchanges, travel distances, and would the players be willing to relocate over here. These were big brainchilds of Gary Bettman and David Stern and other commissioners of sports, and they were like, "Oh, let's get a." The NFL tried NFL Europe. It was a disaster. The British Americanville disaster. It just didn't work. Yet the fans like the one-off games. That's great. But as a league entity, doesn't work. And the NBA have basically put that into the long grass. When the Boston Celtics played one of their road games over here, I think it was against the Timberwolves of Portland? Utah Jazz? It was against one of them. The Boston Celtics played a game over here and won one of their home games on the road, as they call it, because they're just one of the bigger named teams. Their owner and David Stern were both interviewed, and they basically said 10, 15 years ago, if you asked us the question, would we relocate or place a team here? Yes. Now, no. It's looking less and less likely. If the NBA, the biggest major league sport now for TV revenue and fan revenue, says now we're not going to do it. Yes, the NFL have been doing the series games here for 10 years, and they're going to do more when Tottenham's new stadium's built and when Chelsea's new stadium's built. If the NBA are taking the lead, saying no, we're not going to do it, then the NFL and the NHL are going to go, we're not going to do it either. And these ideas have constantly been muted every couple of years. It comes up in conversation. It does get mentioned at press conferences, and it's been pushed further and further into the long grass. I can only find one real controversial league-based thing. I know players and owners and officials have had their own off-court antics in their private lives that may be of disreputable nature, but Tim Donaghy, NBA official, so referee basically, was investigated by the FBI for betting and match fixing offences. Now, he was betting on games basically that involved NBA teams. He's not allowed to do that under league rules. He can bet on the NHL, he can bet on the NFL, he cannot bet on the only league he's involved in. He was doing that, which could link to match fixing, spot fixing and organised crime. I'm not going to go too much in depth about this because it's a long, lengthy investigation, but that's the only major allegation I could find where there's substantial proof of severe corrupt wrongdoing in a sport in the NBA. There are probably others. There probably are others. You could probably tell me of them. But here's the thing: North America does not have a unit designed, a police unit or a law enforcement unit designed to tackle match fixing and that link to organised crime. The FBI obviously investigates organised crime. As I said before, the only nation to have that is Australia. Is the land down under. And every other sports league is open, and every other country is open to systematic match fixing. It's open to. It doesn't say it will happen, and I'm very interested to know what the NBA and other major leagues in North America, if a player comes up to their owner and goes, "Look, someone's asked me to throw a game," and the owner goes, "Oh, it's me. I pay your wages. You're going to lose." What safeguards are in place to stop that? Let's say an owner wants to deliberately say to his team, "You're losing this game tonight. You'll make a lot of money out of it. I'm paying your wages." You say no, you're out of the team. If a player has concerns about something like that, where do they go? The fact that what also gets me, the NBA on average are the best paid players and officials in the world. So the NBA officials are well paid, the athletes are the best paid. So I'm very surprised by betting on games. I'm very surprised by that. But at the same time, you look at the amount of sportsmen in North American sports especially, I'm not going to go into other sports, but 50% of NFL players within 5 years of retiring are bankrupt. So I am not surprised, but I am surprised. That's interesting. Basketball itself, I did play a little bit at school. With the weather today in the south of England, it was snowing earlier, now it's sleeting, so the weather's not great. I don't know if you can see out my window, it's a bit glare from the light outside coming on the camera. The weather isn't great, so when the weather was like this at school, we wouldn't play outside because the pitches, maybe they might have saved the pitches for rugby or football later in the week when we were playing matches against other schools. So if they were waterlogged, they'd let them drain a little bit, try and drain the pitches. We'll go in the sports hall. Do some, especially in summer when cricket was on. If we couldn't play cricket, we'll go in the sports hall and have a sports hall session. And very interesting. They always want to play. Half the time it was basketball, and I just didn't enjoy it. I not knocking the sport. I just couldn't enjoy it as much as other sports that I did at school. You have to be quite tall to play it. I'm quite short. If you are short, you play guard. I wasn't very good at that, so yeah. But no, that's my little take on the NBA. It's very short. I could go in more depth, but the video will be like 40 minutes long, and I don't expect any of you guys to sit through my drivel for 40 minutes because you would want to gouge your eyes out and your ears. But a lot of things have happened. The NBA is leading the way in a lot of things. A lot of things. But it's lagging behind with the minor league affiliate. And the fact that it needs another sports owners to help the league into formation. I was very surprised by a few things I found out. The fact that the ice hockey arena owners and ice hockey team owners were very instrumental in allowing their arenas to be used for basketball because it made them more money. Now the NBA makes more money than the NHL, so they might be regretting that decision. But Adam Silver is now the current commissioner, and the way the game is growing, it's doing better than NFL. It's doing better than NHL and baseball. It's the two other sports it competes with in winter. It's doing better than, and it's doing better than baseball as well, because baseball's had more scandals than basketball. Far more scandals, steroids, alcohol, illegal drugs. But that's with players. So those scandals do have an impact on when people watch it. They go, they like this more. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll have some more videos for you soon.